The word for the day is evangelical. I see evangelicals, I define that as people who know Jesus Christ as their personal Savior. They've truly been born again, and heaven is their home. And we tend to fall into two different camps. And you have the evangelical legalist, and this is a group that really does concern me because they come across as being very condescending, judgmental, narrow-minded, and pharisaical. Their characteristics are described, I suppose, in Luke chapter 6, verse 1 through 5, when Jesus and his disciples were walking through the fields and gleaning from the fields on the Sabbath day. And they said, you can't do that because that's violating the Sabbath. You're working on the Sabbath. And they weren't saying that Jesus and the disciples weren't Jews, but they were going to say they weren't good Jews. And the evangelical legalists wouldn't say that somebody who didn't do things the way that they thought they ought to be done, they weren't saying that you're not a Christian, you're just not a good Christian because you didn't do it their way. Then we also have the other camp, which is grace-oriented. Grace-oriented is lenient, patient, liberty is respected, and they're described in the book of 1 Corinthians, I think, very aptly in verse 4 and through verse 8 in 1 Corinthians 13. It says, love suffereth long and is kind. Love envieth not. Love vaunteth not itself, is not puffed up, does not behave itself unseemly, seeks not its own, is not easily provoked, thinketh no evil, rejoiceth not in iniquity, but rejoiceth in the truth, beareth all things, believeth all things, hopeth all things, endureth all things. Love never fails. I'd like to think that we'd be grace-oriented, to be lenient. Aren't you glad God is lenient with you and me? I sure am. Aren't you glad that God is patient with you and me? Because we don't always measure up. Aren't you glad that we have a God who respects liberty? We're not all the same. Aren't we glad that we have a God who loves us? So we have to ask ourselves, do we tend to be more like the evangelical legalist or the grace-oriented evangelical? And question just to think about, which do you think has more effect on reaching people for Jesus Christ? Think about it.